And welcome back, one and all, to another take on Chapter 5, Section 5, kind of, sort of, called Combining Like Terms. Let's start with some homework. This is a homework assignment from Thursday, I believe, something like that. If you still need it, press pause and come on back when you're ready. And check your answers on the back side. Press pause and come on back. And onward to Fridays. Press pause, check your answers from Friday's worksheet, the distributive property lesson review and homework practice. So we've been asking the essential question for about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. How can we represent numbers? If you got $30, you write the numbers 30. We came up with some numerals to put down on paper because who wants to sit there and draw out $30 bills? On the flip side, if you don't know what you have, we've come up with something to represent that missing number, that mystery. We call those variables. So for instance, 6 T's plus 12. We know we have 6 envelopes of money. We don't know how much is in each envelope. I wonder if we can continue that with simplifying, and we're going to try to do so without drawing. It's really not a big deal. One could sit there and draw out 22 pluses and 19 B's, but why do that if we can come up with a way to combine like terms and simplify without drawing it all out? Imagine, for instance, if that said 122 plus 219 B's and a 57.62. So there will be times when you don't want to draw it out, but you can still simplify these expressions. If you wish, take a ride down memory lane. I believe somewhere near or on October 26th, we took some notes on combining like terms. And we started off by drawing things as mentioned. And furthermore, talked about terms, like terms, constant terms, coefficients, and what those expressions, what those vocabulary words mean. So again, that's on or around October 26th. If you want to peek back at your notes, keep that out, maybe right next to your homework. And we're going to start up today's assignment. First things first, we're simply going to identify like terms. So again, who wants to sit there and draw out 4 E's and 7 E's and 5 and 2 T's when you could? Well, I tell you what I do is I like to circle in some variable terms. I like to underline my constant terms, and sometimes if I have more than one variable, I box those in. But just by doing that, or if you got some colored pencils or some highlighters, you can highlight them different colors. You can then see the like terms that could be combined and simplified. So in this case, there are 2 like terms, only a single pair of like terms, and that would be the E terms with coefficients of 4 and 7. Hop on down, if you would be so kind, to number 5, where again you will find it might be easier to identify if you circle and box in and underline some key things. Except I boxed in the K's, circling the C's. Also, can I just point out, some of you are like me, you like seeing that 1. You are always welcome to write a coefficient of 1. And so we see 1 pair of like terms that can be combined, and those will be the C terms with coefficients of 8 and 4. But there's another pair of like terms, and it's really important to put that negative. You don't have to write the 1 if you don't wish, but you have to point out that the coefficient of that K term is negative. So in this case, there were 2 different pairs of like terms. Now let's take it a step further and not just identify the like terms, but to rewrite each expression in simplest form. So for number 7, if I circle my variable terms and underline my constants, again, could I sit here and draw out 9 A's and a negative 8 A's? Sure. But as soon as I identify that there are 9 A's and negative 8 A's, I'm already picturing that positives and negatives cancel out. So if I had 9 A's and I subtract 8 A's, you guessed it, there would be 1 A left over. So I'm going to write that 1 A. You may write the 1 as the coefficient if you wish. Is there anything to combine with that A? No, there are 3 extra dollar bills, but remember, that A is a mystery. We don't know what that is. And we're just going to have to deal with the fact that we'll never know what that is. but at least we have simplified. Think about the root word of simplify or simplest. It would be simpler, or simple, I should say. And number 7 has 3 terms, and at least we simplified it down to 2 terms. Onward to number 10. I'll go ahead and circle and underline my variable terms. If you want, pause, try to work it out on your own, and then come back when you're ready. So without drawing, could we work this out? I hope so, because I don't really feel like sitting there and drawing out all these p terms, but at least I can identify that there will be 0 pairs. So if we have 7 positive p's, 9 negative p's, and we take away, there are still negative p's left over, and in this case, there are negative 2. Meanwhile, again, I don't want to sit here and draw out all this, but at least I can identify that there's 1 0 pair, -1 plus 7 is 6. Can I combine those to make wait a second, no, those are not like terms. One is a variable term, that's a mystery, and one is a constant term. So we're going to represent the same, remember, these are the same amounts of money. This is the same number of apples in the barrel, or whatever you're thinking of. But there are 2 different ways to represent it. Let's do one more with number 12. Number 12, I think you might find a little more challenging. Pause if you want, come back when you're ready. I see 5 h's, -6 y's, and then there's a constant. I'm going to go ahead and change those to adding the opposite. H's, I circled those h terms, y's, I boxed those in. Imagine drawing all those out, but if I notice that I have some h terms, I can combine those. And some y terms, we can combine those. So 5 h's, another 7 h's would make 12 h's. Don't know what h is, but we do know we have 12 of those. -6 y's, +3 y's is going to be a -3 y's. And then, of course, we have the -8. While that answer is sufficient, you are welcome to write it, if you prefer, with subtraction, because after all, adding -$8 and subtracting $8 mean the same thing. With that, folks, I think you'll find we did toss in a couple challenging problems for those of you that need that challenge to grow. Everybody else, take care of the rest of this homework assignment, front side and back side. Do well, and let's grow.